I am not the Turk, so you don't need to bring your playbook.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, that's me. And I'll tell you what, I'm really kind of discombobulated because I just got here. And when I got in here, it's showing me the countdown clock for what time we have to start the show. And it said 5:02. And I panicked and thought, oh my God, I'm 2 minutes late to the show. But I'm not 2 minutes late to the show. And I damn near just pushed the end broadcast button to end the video. So just wait for me to screw this up. All right. I'm surprised I didn't get cut today.
I thought we had a new intro going.
We want to see the new intro? All right, here is the new intro. We're going to break this out right now. I was kind of saving it to see what we were going to do for the first game of the season, but we might as well go ahead and debut it. The new intro for the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taylor.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gray.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host, John Taylor.
Hey, there I am again. It's John Taman. Hey, all right, everybody. So,
I love how Scott's eyes get so done. He has my glasses off.
He was
Why
like,
do I look like Rolf Harris?
and I couldn't believe it. It was like, hey, here's Scott Hartley. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. He took his glasses off, and I was like, holy shit.
I love Rolf Harris. That's like what? He's the notorious children's entertainer from the 80s and 90s, and the reason he's notorious is he's a convicted paedophile.
Who is?
Rolf Harris. You can Google it.
One of his voices in there?
No. He's funny. He's funny. I said I look like him.
No, he's Scott's a lookalike.
You don't want to admit that.
Don't go that far, Jesse. I also really like the animation of Keith being super skinny.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
He is skinny. I tell you what, he's got himself into good shape, but he's not like all swelled up. The other day he said he was going to go get swollen. I was like, he ain't getting swole. I mean, he's cut down the body fat, so that's good. But, we're not going to sit here and talk about Keith's naked body. He's not going to deign to show up, which apparently he's not showing up today to discuss the big-time roster cuts, man.
Yeah.
Everybody gets cut on the same day now, and it's I don't
different.
know. I thought it was going to be much more exciting than it was.
It's different, I mean, you just don't get a list and say, hey, here it is. They just trickle out. And I just want to welcome Hunter back to the chat. It's been a little bit since we've seen you, buddy. Hey. So welcome back. And Peter, it's good to see you again, too. All
right. Well, I might as well answer the big question there from Hunter. Might as well. What do you think was changing the name back to the Redskins? It's never going to happen. Here's my Redskins jersey that I'm wearing today, my wonderful Ken Harvey jersey that I love so much, that I wear on special occasions. Today being my wedding anniversary, I figured I might as well put it on to turn on the wife. Nah, I'm just kidding. She does like it when we play dress up, and I pretend to be Ken Harvey, though. So anyway, I just don't think it's going to happen. The name is gone. It's what it was, and if the new group rebrands to anything, it's going to be their own thing. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think 5 years, possibly we could see another name change, but it depends. It's the brand, isn't it? It's depending on how we do as the Commanders, really, is over this next 3 to 4 years, I suppose, is where they're going to go with it. I suppose in some ways, Josh Harris and the group could turn around and say, well, we don't want any legacy of Dan Snyder whatsoever, and he had a say in that name, so maybe there's a way to go there. I totally understand and appreciate the people who signed the petition to say, let's bring it back and bring the old name back. Fair play to you, 100,000
they've disappeared off the face of the earth. And
they certainly have after finding out. Yeah, whatever. Exactly.
You know how many things petitions actually change?
No.
Get used to it. Guess what? You have the best voice that you have is with your dollar bill, and that's about the only thing that you say. And I think that our friend Peter Sidorn from Brizzle is onto something here. I don't want to say anything bad about Keith or negative about Keith, but I bet you his fantasy football magazine is stuck together on Bijan Robinson's page. Yeah.
He wouldn't surprise me. He loves Bijan.
All right. So anyway, we've gotten together here to discuss our 53-man roster and the cuts that we made. All right. So first thing I'm going to ask right off the bat is, by the way, hello to our friend from down there in the Richmond area, Norfolk, down in the Tidewater area, Jesse Martin. How are you, sir?
Doing great. He's
very confused here.
Yeah, it's just been a rough day at work. But anyways, I'm not going to bore y'all with that.
All right, so I got to tell you, a rough day at work for you has got to be able to top something like leaving a gigantic piece of equipment and gear and having to chase it across the middle school parking lot while all the kids are out in recess watching.
I would rather do that.
That's one of the best stories
again. I would rather do that again than go through what I went through today. But anyways, besides that, God,
that's what we got to do sometimes. Why we wear the big boy pants. And down below me, speaking of big boy pants, I understand that you are finally out of shorts there, Scott. I have to assume, being an English person, and the only thing I really ever learned about England is on TV, that you grew up until you were about 10 years old wearing a pair of shorts up to about here with some big fat suspenders. Am I wrong? No,
I didn't grow up in the 60s or the 50s, John. No, but
all you guys look like that.
I'm out of my shorts now. I'm in longer pants now. Yeah.
Oh, he's in long pants now. All right,
so
good. I'm glad.
They call pants trousers. What are they?
Trousers,
called?
Yeah. Shorts, just shorts.
Shorts.
Yeah.
Okay, short trousers.
Yeah, they call it the thing that exposes those white streaks.
So yeah, pants are like. Pants are not pants, so my pants are what I wear is my underwear.
We do use trousers as in the new opening.
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans, by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gray.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host, John Taman.
Hey, everybody, it's me again. Once again, welcome to a Deja Vu. So there you go. Do your job. I think that's how Ron was able to some of these guys on the bubble. You think maybe they heard that today? Pull your trousers down and pull my trousers down and do your job. All right. So did anybody stand out to you, Jesse?
No, I think a little bit surprising, and I don't know if he's going to be on the roster by the end of the week or after week one, but Tinsley, even though I loved what we saw from him through the preseason, especially the third preseason game. I think he really showed out, but that shocked me just a little bit. Not necessarily shocked me. I was just surprised that they kept seven wide receivers, Obviously.
Isn't that what we predicted?
6, right? I think we had 6.
I think it was 6, because we thought Kaz was going to take the place of Milne, and
then the third preseason game came along, and
that kind of played his way out of it, but they had to keep a returner, and we'll see if it's good. Listen,
I'd love to know who it is, because
Milne's going to be the returner, the punt returner. It is what it is. It's safety. He can catch. That's about it.
Yeah, he doesn't fumble.
That's
in my opinion. If you're going to be a return man, then you have to actually return it. What he's going to be is a punt stand still guy. All right, he's going to be a punt catcher, and he's not going anywhere because even when he does run, he goes this way and this way and this way and this way, but he never goes that way. So
we're finding it year after year. I think you're seeing less and less touchdowns from punt return touchdowns too. So Milne is a good punt returner in a sense that he knows when to let the ball go. Castle's having trouble with that, and he's sure-handed. So you're not going to get and watch week one for some reason because I say this that he'll fumble, but he's sure-handed, and I understand why they kept him.
Look, I excreted this in a couple of places out there on Twitter this week, and I'm going to say it again. Mitchell Tinsley at Penn State totaled for his career 4 punt return yards. I think that puts him right on even footing with Dax Milne. Let's put him back there and see what he can do.
Yeah. Pringle returned punts at college level, but interestingly enough, on your point there, Jesse, you were right in saying that you're now seeing less and less from the punt return game.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a stat somewhere that said the top punt returner last year was 20 yards on average.
Well,
and then Milne was 13.9. So you're talking a 5-ish or just over 5 yards, nearly 6 yards difference between Milne and the top punt returner. So is it that much of a problem? It can be significant 5 yards. I understand that.
Well, no. I mean, it's significant that he's got at 13. That's a much higher average than you would expect, because honestly, punt returners, when you say that it's diminishing because of the top guy has 20-yard average, is that what
20
you're
yards
saying?
out? 20
That's
yards
incredible.
average, yeah.
All right, I mean, it would depend on how many punts he's returned, but I would say if you give a punt returner a full season, he's going to average between 8 to 12 to 13, 14 yards tops, among the best of them.
Milne was just over 13 yards last year.
Yeah. So these punters are kicking further. The hang time is a lot more than it used to be, so you're just getting less opportunity to return the ball.
There was a release from a guy who was punt and kick returner from the Bengals, I believe, who averaged nearly 15.
Well, what Ron did say, I didn't watch. I didn't get a chance to watch the press conference today, but one word that struck me just going through Twitter is it is fluid. The roster is fluid right now, so things will change. Another shocking something that kind of surprised me was Curtis Hodges sticking on.
Yeah.
I don't expect that to last at all.
No.
I tell you what that tells me. That tells me that they're really worried about how much availability they're going to get out of Thomas. And I know that sounds like the regular doubting Thomas thing to say, but hey, man, the dude is never available. He hasn't been around since the first week of freaking training camp. And Hodges has not shown enough, I think, in this particular camp. Of course, fuck do I know, to be able to say I get a lock on this position. I just think that they're worried about numbers in that regard, because I don't think they can count on Thomas.
To me, I think if they were extremely worried about that, they would have gone after and got Albert O from the Denver Broncos. I think this is just a numbers thing right now. I expect the two people that I think that could go, it would be Curtis Hodges and Mitchell Tinsley.
I think I agree with Jesse.
Another kind of surprise was Larson. But I think that kind of shows how much faith they have in Stromberg and how much he's came on towards the end of camp at both center and guard. So it looks like they got a lot of faith in Ricky.
Yeah. To go back to John's point, sorry, John, to go back to your point there, and to kind of back you up, that's one of the questions I had for you boys was, does keeping a fourth tight end, is this just cover for Logan Thomas? And also when you look at it, the IRs that came out, there's 2 tight ends on IR with, I don't know what they're doing are they trying to keep these 2 tight ends for future use? So because if I believe rightly, if you go on IR today, is that you done for the season?
For the whole year.
There's 2 different kinds of IR, right? Or is it
today? Yeah, it's today after the initial 53.
One of them.
Yeah, after is either after week 1 or after the initial 53, then you can go on short-term IR.
Who's the other one? I didn't see the IR list. Sorry. So Rogers or Armani Rogers.
Braden Daniels.
Daniels
Jonathan Williams.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he has been hurt throughout camp, what I found out today.
So you've got Braden Daniels with a rotated cuff, Jonathan Williams, you've got Tyreek McGowan, wide receiver, you've got Caden Smith, tight end, and Brandon Dillon,
we got
tight
from
end.
the Giants. Yeah.
This is your developmental practice squad. You can't keep these guys, so you're just going to – I don't think there's any limit to how many guys you can put on IR anymore. So,
and Armani Rogers already on IR, wasn't he?
You have a limit. You have a limit of who can come back.
Yeah, you do have
from
that.
IR.
So how does it work then? Because how does it work? Like, because Von Miller's obviously injured. So how does it work?
He's on PUP.
Yeah,
he's on PUP list. He's on the PUP list.
That's the minimum 4 games right there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you can still put people on PUP but
not anymore.
You know what
I tell you, not anymore.
I like to read into things. What I'm going to tell you right now may sound shocking, but from what I get, the reason that they're putting him on the PUP is so that they can have an excuse prepared for when the Commanders beat the shit out of him.
I think if they were really worried about Logan, they would have put him on the PUP list.
Maybe.
Just like they did with Von Miller. I just think Curtis Hodges. I don't think Curtis Hodges is going to stay. I really don't.
Yeah, he's probably one of the because it is. And when they say it's a fluid roster, we know this. I mean, they're gonna make a lot of moves to bring guys back on the practice squad for one thing, and the whole league cut today. Everybody's sifting through. I didn't really see a whole lot of names out there that were very surprising. I did see Wes Martin got cut. They like Wes Martin. They might bring him back. Who knows? But
there's three that I think can make us better. There's a linebacker from the Texans who is pretty decent. I honestly can't remember his name, but I know he's played
Kingsley or something like that, or Kirksey or something.
Kirksey. He's played a fair bit, and he's a veteran guy. Albert O, obviously, as you talked about there, and you mentioned
he's with the Eagles now.
Is he actually gone to the Eagles?
Yeah, he's gone to the Eagles. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
I thought they traded a pick for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, he was available.
It was a 7.
If they were really worried about Logan Thomas, they could have gone out and he showed a hell of a lot more than Curtis Hodges did.
I gotta say, I'm not real thrilled with how Ron has shown his prescience in the past about how he can forecast these things. So whether they would have gone out and got him is a question as to whether or not he would have even considered it.
Fairly decent O lineman from the Lions as well, who was cut. He's probably the only one that I can think of.
I know we don't need a running back. I just was kind of surprised that Melvin Gordon got himself cut. A bit of a fall for him.
He's old.
He's old, but he's still productive.
Are we going to talk about Colt McCoy getting cut?
Colt McCoy, yeah. Well, they're tanking. Colt McCoy got cut.
Actually, I'm going to go against that. I don't think they're tanking at all. I mean, if you listen, if they move on from Kyler Murray next year, that's $58 million cap hit.
Yeah,
$58 million cap. They're not tanking.
It was 46.
If freaking Colt McCoy would have stayed, that would be them tanking. Josh Dobbs is a hell of a lot better than Colt McCoy.
I agree. I mean, let's just put it to the test.
1983.
Good thing for Colt McCoy is he has stuff like that on films. He'll probably get picked up somewhere, like maybe Cirque du Soleil as a clown or something.
I think it's the fact that the coach is refusing to name a starting quarterback for week 1. They've got rid of other players on that staff, on that team as well, and it's just a bit all over the place. They are obviously wanting to be the worst team in football, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Caleb Williams is going to go there." That's fine, but they are literally committed to Kyler Murray for at least 4 years.
I just don't.
There is no way that can.
There's
no way you can do that.
This is a team that doesn't know what the hell it's doing, and I'll go back and say this from back when they drafted Josh Rosen, who was a complete bust. I mean, an unbelievable bust. Is he still? I guess I didn't see his name in the cut list, so I guess he finally got the hint and joined up as a postman or something somewhere. So honestly, they drafted him, and then a year later, they threw him away. They threw away basically, what was he, like the 8th round in the draft or 8th pick of the draft that they took him with?
Yeah, and he went to the Dolphins.
They threw it away. They threw away their coach. They pulled in the college boy coach. They pulled in Kyler Murray, and the whole thing blew up in their goddamn face.
Yeah.
And I made a cartoon that it was what it's a casualty of a computer that I lost, and it's stuck on that hard drive. But I made a cartoon of the Cardinals doing this, and their freaking GM's sitting there aiming a gun at his foot. And hey, what do you know? I was right. So all you people that gave me hell about it, fuck off.
Rosen was the 10th pick. Wow. Thanks,
10th
Peter.
pick. Well, I guess that makes it a little bit better, right? I will maintain that this was a team that had talent. They had it even when they did throw Rosen away, which A, bad move to draft him. B, good move to figure it out.
He didn't even want to go to Arizona either. That
You know why?
Yeah.
Because he knew he was a fraud. He didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
He would have said the same thing no matter who drafted him. I don't want to go there. They can't play. So look, they're just all over the place. They've been all over the place. They're like the Cleveland Browns of the NFC. And I don't care if anybody wants to give me a hard time about that. They got nothing to show for any of it. All right. Ever since Kurt Warner left, I mean, they've got nothing to show for any of it. So all of the wheeling and dealing, it's no different than us, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And this week, I mean, this game, I asked you last week, is this a potential trap game? Because after I asked that, now they've cut this guy Dobbs. Nobody knows anything about him. All right. We're very confident, very, very high. This team is high on itself. Is there such a thing as a trap game in week 1?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm more nervous now about facing an unknown like a Joshua Dobbs or Clayton Tune than I was about Colt McCoy.
I'm not afraid of anybody named Clayton Tune. His name is Clayton Tune, which means his name is Clay Tune. Clayton Clay Tune is his name. So I'm not afraid of that at all. The thing is, this team has had a history of letting people write their Sports Illustrated story, when they're playing us. This kid, they got him directly from the garage. There were the bus that broke down. They got him out. He was just a oil jockey in there, and they put him in the game. And look, there he is, throwing 5 touchdowns against Redskins. We've had that kind of shit. I watched the Cardinals come in here with Boomer Esiason and throw for 500 yards one day. I was fucked up. So, the Cardinals have got a long history with me of breaking my heart, and I don't really feel like watching it again.
This has got to be over by halftime. If it's not over by halftime, and we're in the fourth quarter,
if it's
I'm going to be
like a real game in the fourth quarter.
I will start clotheslining people when they're going to their
clotheslining people. I've seen how tall you are. You might not be clotheslining anybody, but you might be belt buckling a few. So,
I might do a Dan Campbell and bite some kneecaps. It'll be all right. Actually, to be honest, when I saw Andrew Norwell sucked, but when I saw him come out the tunnel last year, I was like, in his street clothes, I was like, holy shit, I've never seen a bigger man in my life.
Oh, they're huge.
That dude was enormous.
They're huge.
Honestly.
Some of them are like huge like a cow. It's a fucking cow. It ain't going anywhere.
So any other surprises? Let's talk about these people that think Jake Fromm should have surpassed Jacoby Brissett as quarterback too.
Yeah. Let's talk about them. Look, I got to tell you, most of you people are uglier than sin. Some of you smell funny. I made a couple of comments about Jake Fromm in that if it wasn't for Brissett's history, experience, and the mentorship that he brings to the table, Fromm kind of outplayed him in the preseason. It wouldn't bother me one way or the other if it was going to be him, except for the fact that the mentorship and the experience puts him miles ahead of Jake Fromm. Brissett, of course.
Yeah, no. Last time we've seen Jake Fromm in a real game, it wasn't good. So it really, really wasn't good.
I think that if we get to the second, you know how it is with us. You get to any team, really. You get to the second quarterback and you're fucked anyway.
Yeah. Are we surprised they only kept 2 quarterbacks?
No.
I'm always surprised when they keep 3, and I'm always surprised at the people every year that tell me, "Oh, teams always keep 3." No, they don't. Teams hardly ever keep 3. I mean, they might now.
Well, with this team, we've gone through. I mean, we play at least 3 quarterbacks a game. Let me go strangle some dogs real quick.
All right, that's cool. Sounds like dinner's getting ready to get thrown in the pot over there at Jesse's house down in southeastern Virginia.
So what do you think about
their dogs? But that sounded like a raccoon to me.
So what do you think about the 11 D linemen and stroke DN in total? So it's 7 DNs, and obviously the rest were DTs. So I think the DTs they spoke for themselves. You can't get rid of John Ridgway. No. You're going to keep Mathis as a second rounder, and then you've got obviously Allen and Allen and Payne. But I mean, the 7 DNs, I was like,
I think that when you talk about the DN. Here's the thing. All right, we're light at linebacker, right? We know that in terms of numbers, we're light at linebacker. When we discussed our 53-man prediction, I said that Milo Eifler had a shot because they are light at linebacker in terms of numbers, but he got cut. So I'm thinking that if worse comes to worse, and we were talking about how we always go through 5 quarterbacks a year. Well, we also go through a couple dozen linebackers every year. So a guy like KJ Henry, he's sized enough that maybe he could drop back and start to play a little bit more of an outside linebacker role and play more of a rover type thing. I wouldn't know. Like I say, when we get down into those types of situations, it's a disaster anyway. But I mean, you figure if Jamin Davis is out, that leaves Cody Barton, who I have not really been all that impressed with.
Neither
he's a freaking clone of whatever his name was, Will Whiteboy, whoever we had down here. What was his name?
It was
I don't even remember his name anymore.
Mayo?
No, Mayo's still here. He's still going to be freaking Mayo the White Boy.
The mullet. He went to the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. Cole Holcomb.
Cole White Boy, right? Cole Holcomb. So Cole White Boy. Look, man, Barton doesn't show me any different in terms of being able to attack the ball. All right, and
it's the most white boy names for linebackers, isn't it?
Dude, Cole and Cody. What we need is a Zach. We got a Zach anywhere. All right. I didn't see Heineke's name on the cuts. Yeah, I think he's
he's going to be QB1 in about 4 weeks after week 4.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder.
When they find out that Desmond Ridder's actually shite.
Yeah, Hunter, he's on the Falcons backing up Desmond Ridder. Probably will be started before too long. Peter asks, when will we know if Davis is going to jail? Looks like Thursday is his court date. So we will find out then.
Let's hope that they can give him
made the 53 Peter for HMP Wormwood Scrubs.
I would just like him to get whatever it is done and over with before it's the season. And, once he's in the can, nobody mess with him.
Or after the season. Well, look, no surprises. No surprises on defense. I know, John, I think you mentioned something about William Bradley King.
That was Scott. Scott brought up William Bradley King.
Yeah, well, you were wrong. I don't think I see any surprises on this.
Toohill, maybe you could say. Just we were thinking.
Well, he was on that bubble, but they kept KJ Henry and Andre Jones.
Well, they drafted them both.
Yeah. So
I'm glad they cut Alex Akingbulu because I don't want to have to say Alex Akingbulu during the course of
they did cut a fan favorite, Benny Potato.
Potato got cut, but he might come back to the practice squad. I mean,
he's definitely a good practice squad candidate.
Potatoes go with everything, right? A little bit of salt, and you're good.
A little salt, pepper, and some ketchup.
You're good to go, no matter what. Now, I had this question this week, and this will kind of tell you that where I am in my head right now. You eat French fries with some ketchup. It tastes pretty good, but you put ketchup on a potato chip, and it's fucking nasty.
Oh yeah, no, you're right about that.
I don't understand that. That's just one of those things. But
what's our favorite singer called? He's very versatile. It's like potatoes.
The Harry Sphincter.
Harry Sphincter. That's exactly it. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we're still trying to make it sound like we give a shit about all these names that got cut. I'm kind of surprised Aaron Montero got cut. They've been a little. It's not like they've been high on him, but they do need depth on the offensive line.
Let's see.
Loffenberg.
Yeah, Loffenberg got cut. They cut. I wonder if Derek Gore would have a chance to make a practice squad, or if Jarrett Patterson. I wonder if he doesn't clear waivers, you got to bring Patterson back to the squad. You have to.
Why?
Because he
why?
Yeah,
why? I don't get love. I mean, I understand that he's a local kid. I get that, but when you're sixth on the running back depth chart,
I'd rather have Gore back than Patterson. To be honest,
same as me. Bang on.
I'll tell you what.
If there's two running backs on the practice squad, great, but I'd rather have Gore. I'm with you, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little nostalgic.
I don't think you get anything.
I mentioned this on the bunker. There was a question, I forget. I think it might have been you, Scott, that asked that about what position is the hardest to cut.
That's it, yeah.
And just as a fan perspective, you think about it. It's the one with the story, and I brought up Jarrett Patterson. He's got the good story, the undrafted local kid, beloved by all teammates. Him and Chase went to school together.
Makes plays when you need him in the preseason.
In the preseason, and he showed a little bit. He shows that he belongs in the NFL. Unfortunately, we have that running back room is stacked with good talent.
I just think he looked like a freaking Eric Bieniemy style back. I think a guy like him would flourish under Andy Reid. He's that size. He's that,
Yeah.
and he's got the sure feet like that. I'm telling you what, man, that touchdown that he danced down the sidelines, I don't care if it's on guys that got cut today. That's an athletic play. And it's like I tell you guys all the time when we're talking about preseason, I don't give a shit about the play. Let me see what the fundamentals that the guy is showing me is. And on that, you see his footwork. You see how his balance holds him up. You see how low his center of gravity is. And I just think he would flourish in an offense like that.
This proves why the running back market is what it is, and why it's hard to pay running backs, because there's so many good ones. I mean, they all deserve to be. Every one of those running backs we have on our roster deserve to be on a team. Unfortunately, you can't keep all 6 of them. You can't do it. Gore, I think. I mean, I didn't even know he was on our team a couple seasons ago. He was on our practice squad a couple years ago. I had no idea, but he looked good. He looked really good, and he's kind of that scat back, smaller type of.
He doesn't run like it. That man runs with some power.
He does.
He's
coming hard. To your point there, Jesse, it's how many running backs are out there now that
there's a lot
that you can just pick up off the street almost. And that's the terrible situation with running backs now and that's why they're not getting paid.
Yeah,
look at Jonathan Taylor.
And I hate to say it because they're so much more athletic than all 3 of us combined. But they're a dime a dozen. If you think about it,
it's because their shelf life is short. All right, look what we've discussed this before. The Cowboys paid Zeke and they paid for it. All right. Once they get into year 5, most of these guys start to break down. They can't take the pounding of it anymore. The way that and they're doing it now with 18 to 20 carries a game as an RB1, not 30 like it used to be. So I don't know whether it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Does that not make you look at someone like Alvin Kamara or AP and think, how are you still doing this?
Well,
I mean, you get some of those sometimes that take
freaks, man. Freaks. Those guys are, and those are the guys that do rise to the top and do last a long time.
But
the fact of the matter is that
they do deserve to be paid. Those type of
when you find one, Derrick Henry, he got a second contract, right? Yeah. When you find one that can handle it. But that's Saquon Barkley. Better put up this year, buddy boy, because as much as I love Saquon Barkley as a Penn State Nittany Lion, he is a rotten, stinking New York Giant right now, and a Giant who, even though he's got it, he had it, I should say, but he's had a lot of injuries.
Going back to the offensive line real quick, they only kept 9. I still think they're not finished there yet. Hunter says one thing I suppose that surprised me is the cuts at the offensive line. Ours wasn't stellar unit to begin with, and we didn't make a whole lot of improvement of that area. Well, I'll tell you this, Hunter. I think it's going to be a heck of an improvement from last year because we couldn't get much worse.
We could put freaking traffic cones out, and it's an improvement from last year.
The moves that we made, kicking Cosme inside, getting Nick Gates, Stromberg is starting to come on. I foresee him coming into the lineup sooner rather than later because – Charles is going to get hurt. If Leno can stay healthy, that's going to be a big plus for us. And we're going to see about Wiley. I mean, they try to upgrade there, but we will see. So
if that's the case, then would you kick out Gates to left guard as he had played for the Giants and has, experience at playing there over a couple of seasons and have Stromberg start at the center? Is that where you go?
I would. Look, Stromberg just started playing guard the other day. Basically, right?
But there's not that much difference between center and guard. I think there's more to do at center because you're doing a lot of pass protection calls, and also you have to give the ball to the quarterback. Shotguns, things can go wrong. So maybe moving him to guard, which there's really, as far as the difference, there's not a whole lot of difference as far as assignments goes. I think maybe that might be a better move because if you can play center, you can play guard, period.
Well, I mean, maybe. The thing I would say about it is, like I said, he just learned to play guard. Last week they started moving him around over there. The week before that,
he was a center. I mean, that's where he played.
I would think center in college football.
Right. In my opinion,
says it all, really.
My opinion, graphic designer who watches the game from his freaking chair right there, right? I would play Stromberg if we had an injury. I would play Stromberg at center because that's his natural position.
Yeah.
And I
mean, that could happen. That could happen.
Let's hope not, because honestly, the one cut that makes me nervous is Tyler Larson, because we do have a history of not only having our centers go down, but I mean they go down. How you doing, buddy? We miss you. That's for sure. We wish you were here.
I did hear that they are trying to get Larson back on the practice squad.
I should hope so. I'm just kind of surprised that they let him off the 53, because we go through centers like nobody's business.
I'm glad they kept Trent Scott.
paid him a lot of money.
Only having three tackles on the roster was making me a little bit nervous, because Braden Daniels, he needed some time to gain some weight, get some strength, and I think Braden Daniels is going to be our future. Hopefully, at least that's what they're hoping. But he just needed some time to grow, and because Daniels is athletic, and you did see some good things, especially in that third preseason game from Daniels. But put him got a torn rotator cuff. Put him on IR, probably the best thing for this team and for him, really, going forward. But they only kept 9. That I thought they were going to keep 10 offensive linemen. That kind of surprised me a little bit.
Didn't we have 11 when we did?
We had 11. Yeah, we had 11.
I think because we kept Scott and we kept Larson.
Yeah, because I think it was we were so we're always so nervous about the offensive line.
I'm just going to say this straight out then for
keep 15 of them. Shit.
For Josh Harris, who I know happens to be watching right now. Look, man, all right, you see what we did for our offensive line. We picked 11. Your guys, your brain trust picked 9. So by the end of the year, we'll find out whether or not you should be talking to us about a job upgrade.
Yeah, there you go.
I think my co-host there, Lockhart, who's just popped himself in the chat, said Trent Scott blows. He'll be the first person cut when we go after somebody else's cast-offs. I get that. I get that, but you're paying him over $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to?
For those who are unfamiliar with Andy Scouse Lockhart, he thinks everybody blows.
He walks around waving a $5 bill at people. He's hoping. Howdy, Scouts. All right, yeah, man. Well, you know what?
I do think we upgrade somewhere. He's also there.
Yeah, I think so. We're fluid. It's fluid right now.
Fluid.
That's the key word. The Ron word of the day is fluid.
Ron was just mentioning that he peed his pants and he had to go get his diaper changed, but that's just me.
Andy says $10 bill, not $5 bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. He's in Liverpool. If he was in Barrow and Furnace, he'd be getting some change from that 5.
Absolutely.
Behind the alley, love. All right. So anyway,
and a bag of chips and a post-coital cigarette. But anyway,
yes, we will move along. All right, so who are you happy for making the roster? Me, it's right out on the front. Mitchell Tinsley. I'm a Penn State fan. I like the kid. I think he did well enough in the preseason to show that he belongs. I'd like to see a little expanded role rather than just a wide receiver who never plays. Man, I'd like to see him. They try him a little bit at punt returns. Let's just see if he can do a few. We got 2 weeks before the season starts. Stick him back there. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, no, I think Tinsley. You hit the head right there with Tinsley. I honestly didn't think he would make it. I didn't think they were going to keep 7 wide receivers, and good for him. And if he sticks around, great.
Do you think that third preseason's done it then for him to get him on?
Yeah, I think so too. Because
he had another good. That's his second big game.
Well, he had some drops in the first. I think the first game. And he didn't play well in the first game. In the second game, he had a couple drops, but you always heard him. In training camp, you always heard Tinsley was making plays, obviously with their team, with mainly with Jake Fromm, but you kept hearing his name. I'm happy for Andre Jones. Obviously, he was a 7th round pick.
There you go.
But there's not really any surprises. There's not any huge surprises. Maybe I'm not really happy for Curtis Hodges. I just didn't think he deserved to make the team, to be honest.
Yeah, me either. Like I said, I believe that is all about their concern over availability of Thomas, not Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas. We know he's not available. That dude's been dead. Yeah. You can look at the injury report. Derek Thomas dead. So shit. We're only going with 45 this week.
I'm really pleased that we were all spot on with our predictions for the the corners and safety. So the secondary, we were bang on. Whichever way you wanted to put it. I mean, they've gone. What did they go 5 and 5? We said there was 10.
We
didn't we?
took
Or did
6.
we say? No. I think we
six.
said 6 corners, but we had Quan Martin as a corner, and I think Quan Martin's gone down as a safety. So whichever way you want to skin that cat, we were right. If you think of it that way.
He makes me nervous. He really does.
He makes me nervous. Really
makes me
nervous.
He's got to be on the team, but he didn't show up well in preseason.
I don't know. I thought he had some good hits. That touchdown that was some people said it was on him. It wasn't because he was in run support. He's listening to John Keim and what we've heard from him throughout camp. That he's a smart player. He's got to work on a couple things, but he's going to be good. And just give him the time. I think he's going to be all right. I'm sure at first we're not going to see him a whole bunch. They're going to work him in, and I think he's just going to be fine. So I wouldn't say he makes me nervous. He's got some developing to do.
He does. A Jamin Davis type that is going to take a bit of time. Maybe next year.
Hopefully not that long.
The difference to me is the Jamin Davis type isn't going to get beat for the 70-yard touchdown, whereas the safety type might. And the thing about it is I'm perfectly willing to allow the guy to develop, as if it was up to me anyway. I just, with only 4 safeties right now, or 5 safeties. What do we got? 5 safeties. That is going to put, especially with our light linebacking core, knowing that we are playing these hybrid Buffalo nickel type guys more often. And there you go, Keith. We're going to say it. But the fact of the matter is that he is going to get in the game. And when he gets into the game, I have a feeling that they're going to say, oh, boop, 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 there he is over there. And let's hope he can step up for it. Let's hope he can do something with it. I hope he does.
I'm quite comfortable with all 5 of these safeties as they've been put on. I mean, Quan Martin, we did question there, but other than that, you've got Derek Forrest, Cam Curl, Percy Butler, and Jeremy Reeves. None of them are letting you down. None of them.
We got to remember,
I need to see a little more effort. I mean, I saw poor effort out of him in the preseason games.
We have to remember this when it comes to Quan Martin. He was asked to do and learn a lot, multiple positions during the offseason. So just some food for thought.
That's fine with me, but those positions, other than the starfish, they're usually pretty easy to get into. I mean, you can Kama Sutra it if you want, but for the most part, if you're strong enough, you can hold, as long as you can hold her weight, you can do a lot of things.
I suppose one other thing who I'm pleased for, another real person I'm pleased for, is Danny Johnson. Constantly cut.
He sticks around, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he's there, man. And
sticks around like the hemorrhoids, man. Always there.
And Jeremy Reeves as well. Obviously, he's Pro Bowl Revo now, but
he's
all Pro Revo, even All Pro Revo, should have said.
That's a big difference.
All Pro, but he did give up some plays during preseason.
He put out some cryptic tweets right before cuts too, man. He was putting out some.
But I think
he kind of felt he was a little bit on the bubble. But dude, Jeremy, I know you're listening. Ron Rivera loves you, man. He used to watch you get ready for the game, and I think that you know what that means.
Wow.
Yeah, I gotta find that. But you see, I can't do too many sound effects all at once.
Shit.
This is Ron Rivera watching Jeremy Reeves give.
Oh, Reeves, baby.
You're making the team, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
You show you what an all-pro does.
Tie them cleats up.
You boys could learn something watching Jeremy.
Make sure you got that sweat tap on.
I'd love it when Scott talking dirty would be more like something like, would you mind moving your ankle over to the left a little?
Is it a Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Is any of us surprised that they only kept 3 running backs?
No,
not really.
It seems to be the number that you keep.
Especially with now the call-up rules from practice squads and stuff like that.
I'll be interested to see if they re-sign Arma. I mean, you know how I feel about
that. That's definitely going to happen.
All 3 of them, they could all 3 of them. I think are worth you can't keep that many running backs around.
But that's who I forgot.
Those guys.
That's
all you got to remember, John, is there's a 16 practice squad now, so it's gone up 2 from last year. It was 14 last year.
You want to keep almost 25% of that as running backs? Nah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean,
I think Arma too is kind of that H-back running back kind of. I totally forgot about Alex Arma, and he will be on the team come week 1. I can almost guarantee.
All right, I don't know whether or not Andy is telling us that he's learned how to play country roads, or he's really very bad at talking dirty.
That means something totally different.
I mean, I guess it does mean something totally different. However, here in the United States, anything to do with a banjo is mostly about inbreeding. I guess what he's asking is his sister to do something with it. Is that what it is? I don't know. I guess Scott went dark. We're right now causing controversy in the United States.
Scott's starting to sweat, so something's it is a UK some UK slang that's going over our heads right now.
Oh yeah, just if you're listening in the United States, Google banjo string, you'll be okay.
Banjo string.
I'm doing it right now.
All right, banjo string. Go ahead, go Keith. Jesse, go ahead and break the news as to what the banjo string. I'm just going to go ahead and put this back on. The show has evolved into all kinds of stuff. If you're tuning in looking for high class and high quality analysis, for one thing, look,
Jesus Christ,
go watch the Ref the District prediction show last night, which was good. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
It was very good. It was very good.
Yeah. When it comes to all the other content creators, look, boys, man, we got some pizzazz going on. We're the only people that show up with music, everything. So what is it, Jesse? Tell me. I got this music for nothing. What's a banjo string?
A banjo string is a slang term for part of the male anatomy called the frenulum. Frenulum, yeah. String-like a fold of the skin on the uncircumcised penis that connects the head and the foreskin. Sorry, bluegrass musicians.
The Scouts, you're really familiar with this. All right.
My banjo. That's why I was like, wow.
My banjos.
And only on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast where you'll learn parts of your anatomy and
That's
the
right.
UK slang for them.
Yeah, like bell end. Yeah, there you go.
Well, the banjo string leads to the bell end. That's a whole song right there.
Indeed, yeah,
Bell end to the banjo string. The banjo string is connected to the bollocks, and that's what we have. It's so easy to get these guys going. You talk a little dirty and look at them; they get all red in the face. All right, so we were talking about the roster there. Is there anything left to actually talk about? Is there anybody out there that you can see? Because I've been sitting here scrolling through this whole show. There's no names that really stand out to me anywhere to upgrade. I mean, that may be mostly because I don't know who they are. Maybe Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah, I mean, he's a former first rounder, isn't he? I mean, but then he's been cut from the Bears, and you think, okay, that's your second team you've been on, so something's wrong there.
Well, the Bears gave Charles Leno, and Leno for his first year was fine.
People are trading for players all over the spot. There's lots of 7th rounders being floated around.
They're trading for kickers today.
I know, crazy. Was it the guy who's from the Titans? Has he gone to the Patriots, or is it the other way around?
The Patriots picked up the Titans kicker. The Browns traded for a kicker. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of odd to me. The kicker.
The Giants have already announced their captains, and there's about 15 of them.
Oh, gee, wow. I'm sure that we're all thrilled with that. Here's what they are. They are Daniel Jones and 14 other bums.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although, you know what? Trayvon, what's his name? Kayvon, the freaking Kayvon Thibodeau, is that his name? The freaking defensive lineman. That dude is problematic. They have a good defensive line.
Well, look, stop. He had 4 sacks pretty much all season long.
Kayvon Thibodeau? He was a rookie last year.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
He had 4 sacks, and they were all against us, against injured.
He was the one laying on the ground doing the freaking snow angel after he wrecked that one quarterback who was taken out of the game. I can't remember who it was. That he hurt the guy, and then he was laying next to him doing the snow angel. So
there was multiple trades, kicker trades today, which I found
absolutely mental.
The Patriots made a trade and the Browns made a trade. Yeah. They traded for
Browns got Hopkins.
Yeah.
Browns got Hopkins. That's right. Yeah.
And I think that the Texans, didn't they trade a kicker? I don't know.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I'm sure they did. What I was going to say there is here's an interesting one. Do you see Jake Fromm getting picked up by the Cardinals?
No,
probably
starting against us. No, maybe not.
And if that happens, you know damn well they're not tanking. There's a good chance
they'll be looking to try to get some offensive ideas.
Because Gannon is it Gannon their coach? I don't know. I think he's fucking lunatic. He's
Lutz has gone to Denver as well. He's right. Yeah.
Oh, the Saints send Lutz to Denver. Yep. Thanks, Peter.
Will Lutz. That's right. The Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints are one of those teams that I'm just not giving any credit to whatsoever. I'm not impressed with this team. I don't think they're going to do jack shit, much nothing. Are you guys playing in any fantasy football leagues this year?
I'm in like 13.
I'm in one. You're in 13.
Yeah.
I'm in one.
I'm in one.
Yeah, I'm in one.
13.
I
got my big work pool, betting pool. So
the only Saints that I even thought about was their defense. I think their defense is pretty good, fantasy wise, anyway. But other than that,
they got Derek Carr and Michael Thomas is back.
Look at me being all
it seems like we haven't seen Michael Thomas in like 4 years. It seems like
he goes from one place to another. He's back, right?
No, he's always been on the Saints. He's just like hurt.
Oh, he's been hurt. It's the other guy, Cooks, Brandon Cooks. He gets bounced.
Yeah. He's with Dallas now.
He might have himself a nice year because they've lost a lot of receiving targets over there, and it's him now with CeeDee Lamb. And we all know that Dak is that regular season warrior. He'll put together 8 solid games. And I think
who was the Cowboys? Who was the Cowboys swap today? They swapped someone.
They picked up a quarterback the other day. They picked up Trey Lance the other day.
They got Trey Lance the other day, but I think they just swapped someone with Miami. Trade. So the Dolphins are trading former first round.
Microwave.
Yeah, so here you go. The Dolphins are trading former first round pick. First round corner Noah Ignob. I can't remember how you pronounce his name. Ignobway. Yeah, to the Cowboys for cornerback Kelvin Joseph. So it's a straight swap of corners.
Huh. That's unusual. I keep saying it's unusual to see these trades, but we're seeing more and more of them as over the last couple of years. Teams are much. This didn't used to happen nearly as much as it does now. A straight up corner to corner swap. That's kind of.
So here's a question then, John. I'll put this question to you, and I'll ask you, Jesse, as well. But I'll ask you first, John. What if you're the GM now, or you're Ron Rivera, you're Eric Bieniemy, whichever you want to play the part of? And you're looking at your team and thinking, right, we've got our fluid 53, because fluid is the word today. Where are you looking right now to make sure that you look at the waiver wire? And where would you upgrade if you have?
I'm still looking at the offensive line right now. First and foremost,
tackle. Right tackle.
I'm combing through every single wave, maybe even late round trade offers. Hey, make a move. If it's going to make your team better, make the fucking move. Pull the fucking trigger.
Yeah.
That's where I would echo that exactly. I'd be looking at guard and tackle because we need bodies, and that's a fact. I mean, I hope we break this streak where we don't go through so many, but that's the NFL anymore, man. Attrition is a big part of it, and we always end up scraping down at the bottom. So I would definitely be looking to make a move in that regard. And who's the number 53 and number 52 guy on the roster that are in danger? I mean, Hodges would be maybe one.
I think Hodges and Tinsley, unfortunly,
and then Scott as well probably be the other one, wouldn't it?
Unless Trent Scott? I would unless you're swapping for a sure upgrade to Trent Scott, I would not. I'd leave him be.
According to Scouts, a sure upgrade to Trent Scott is is a bag of sacrete. You just throw it on the ground in front of the quarterback, and it should be able to do all right. But
anybody who's not a Pro Bowler, Scouts thinks he's a bum, pretty much.
Pretty much. No, I think Scouts is really serious about his O-line. He loves the trenches, and I'll be fair to him. He knows a lot more about it than obviously I do. But I do think to myself, you know what? He's very much build it from the trenches, and then you're gonna be okay. But as you said before, Jesse, there's probably 5 or 6 teams with decent offensive lines. Yeah, that's it.
That's just how the depth is now.
There's just a dearth of talent, isn't there, that play on the offensive line. Also, do you not think offensive line has become? I mean, we've seen it year on year on year. If you go back, it's always been offensive linemen are right at the top of the draft. They're almost first, second, third pick.
This year, especially,
you've seen a kind of a little bit of a drop off.
Yeah, because now it's not a sexy pick, is it? It's not a sexy position to play. People want to be the edge rusher, the defensive line. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think it kind of rotates a little bit. It just goes like year to year. There's always a run on something. You know, there's a better plethora of talent at one position in some years, and then another position like this year there was plenty of a good amount of cornerbacks in the beginning, in the first half of the round that went pretty early that were pretty good, and next year they may have a run on safeties or a run on wide receivers. It kind of rotates from year to year. I said this yesterday as well, talking about the offense, how offensive lines are worked these days. The defensive lines are getting better. I mean, I think we have one of the best defensive lines in the league, but there is a few out there that are really, really good. And I think they're getting bigger, and they're getting stronger, and they're getting faster. And, the idea right now is get to the fucking quarterback. That's how defenses are.
It's the only way you can do it anymore. Look, I hate to keep smacking myself on the back, but Christ, you've heard me say this before, and I've been saying it to people like some of y'all that are over here that have been listening to me on other podcasts for years and years and years. When they changed all these rules and defensive backs can't fucking separate a receiver from the ball with all of these defenseless player things where it makes them hesitate, the only way that you can disrupt the passing game anymore is to get to the quarterback, disrupt his timing. That's the only way that you can successfully do it with any kind of consistency. Yeah. If you're trying to play it in the back end, it's a losing game. It's stacked against you. So there you go.
100% right. 100% right. And that's why the focus, so many teams are focused on bolstering their defensive line, whether it's the tackles or I mean, you're seeing a lot of good tackles coming out now. And a lot of
there
really
were 4
good
tackles picked in the first round this past year. 4.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty good. That's a solid ratio, I suppose, when you look at all 32 teams, the 4 offensive tackles. It was a pretty rich draft for that. You're never going to see guards taken in the first round anyway, except for when stupid teams like
unless you draft a tackle and then move them to guard.
Right.
Honestly, I genuinely believe this is probably the best
guard
defensive line stroke, DNDT. I think this is the biggest depth and the best we've had that you could roll out situational passes in years.
You could argue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. I was just going to say, just look at like the D tackles.
We got
any of them are starting anywhere else. Honestly, any of them are starting any other team.
As a duo, they are elite. All right, our starting duo. And honestly, as the resident old guy here, and Keith, you're not here to bitch at me, so shut up. But this defensive line, if it plays to its potential this year, you could hearken all the way back to Dexter Manley and Charles Mann to find a line that we've had to compare to this. All right.
Yeah.
And they could be better because as good as Dave Butts was in the middle, they're nothing like these guys. These guys, our defensive tackles create pass pressure unlike you're used to from that position. You always wanted that was the thing when Albert Haynesworth came here. That's what we wanted to do. We had edge rushers that could get there, but the quarterback could always step up and get out of the way. You needed somebody to collapse the pocket, and that's what we bought Haynesworth to do. And all he did was
how many sacks did Allen get last year?
I think Allen got 8.5 and
8.5 or 9,
and
Payne got 10,
12.5.
12.5. Yeah, he was double digit.
20 for the two tackles. That's insane.
The guy that we fired last year, Mills. Okay. What he had them doing was playing the standard 1980s style defensive tackle where they're just space eaters. You're just trying to hold your own there so you can take up a guard and a tackle, or the guard in the center, so that linebackers could lance through and make tackles. But it's not like that anymore. And thankfully, right before the season last year, Ron had an epiphany and said, "You are fired. Let these guys freaking loose. Let them loose."
I want to bring up what because we were talking about this a little bit earlier about Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah.
We drafted him in the first round, but we drafted him as a tackle. They quickly realized that, this guy's not a tackle. We're going to move him to guard, which,
Right.
smartly so.
Yeah,
and he was a good guard. I still don't think he was all pro material. I'm not sure how he got that, but
I think it's right guard. I think they just go, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
That one.
He got all pro a few times, didn't he?
No, just once.
He did.
Was it just once?
Just the one time.
He
The
got
one
pro
time.
bowler quite a lot of times. I think.
Yeah.
If I
Hey, he was
remember.
good. No, don't get me wrong. He was good. I just don't
Very
think he
good.
was.
He usually spent
the
5
best
games of the
guard.
season.
I don't. He was the best guard in the game.
And either way, look, I'll go back and say what John Madden said. You can hide your worst player at right guard. You can hide your worst guy there at right guard because his job is not that cerebral. All right. And I oftentimes I wonder, because a lot of times we saw that right side collapse. And I wasn't sure if it was either Scherf was trying to pick up for Morgan Moses, or Morgan Moses was, but there was no way that those two guys should have gotten run through like they did. And they kept getting run through. So I'm not going to talk about Brandon Scherf anymore. He's down in Jacksonville. And I hope he does good, because we talked about fantasy a minute ago. Trevor Lawrence is my fantasy quarterback this year, and I'm hoping for some big numbers out of the Brett girl. That's what I'm hoping.
To kind of marry the conversation, what Hunter's talking about, guards are super impactful in this league right now. And yes, because we were just talking about the defensive tackles in this league. Some of these, look at your Aaron Donalds, your Deron Paynes, your John Allens, your Dexter Lawrences.
Quentin, what's his name up in New York?
Unbelievable.
Nelson,
Quentin Nelson's the guard.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
the guard.
sorry. Yeah. Quentin
Williams.
Quentin Williams.
Yeah. Hugh.
These guys are fucking amazing. They're big, fast, strong. They come after you. So yes, the guard is nowadays important, and that's why you're seeing. That's why you're seeing.
Tackles. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing. The lack of good offensive linemen is because these defensive tackles are getting fucking amazing.
And they're getting paid. That's the thing.
Carter
You start seeing big
Philly's gonna
contracts
be a
going to
problem.
these defensive tackles. Sorry.
Yeah, they are. I think Jalen Carter, I think once he kind of sorts his off the field shit out, I think he's going to be a real problem in Philly. I think that is a
fuck them.
It's fuck.
I know.
No, fuck Philly. Fuck Philly.
That's what we say. Fuck Philly. That's what we say about them. So they can.
Fuck you, Jalen Hurts.
Fuck yeah. We'll have to get Harry Sphincter to write us a new tune.
We do.
Eat some horseshit, you Philly fan.
Oh, that's a good bit. Hey, mark that. We need to come up with some bits for the season.
Yeah, it's a matter of time for me. I come up with ideas, but I just don't have the time to put them together. But the other thing, I will tell you this. People would always ask me back in the day when I was making cartoons, how come you don't make cartoons about this team or that team? It's because they win. And when teams are winning, there's not shit to make fun of. Yeah. There's just, when teams are doing well, there's not a whole lot of shit to make fun of. So it gets more difficult.
So to end the show, since we're about to end the show, I just want to, I said something last night on the heels of Owens.
Oh, you did say somebody
to Albert Breer. I said that the best thing that could have happened for Sam Howell happened. He got to sit and learn and have the game slow down while still working the scout team. That was the best thing for Sam Howell. And anybody that says differently, I'm sorry. He was a 5th round pick. He was a 5th round pick for a reason. 32 other teams passed him by 5 times before we picked him.
You know how I feel about that. If anybody ever says to me again about quarterbacks in the grid, let me tell you about the draft experts and quarterbacks, whatever, talk to the goddamn 49ers. They're starting Mr. Irrelevant, and they just traded off a guy they gave away the fucking farm for.
We all sat on this podcast when we drafted Sam Howell, and we all agreed, hey, let him sit this year.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
And guess
well,
what?
you know, because we had Carson Wentz, right?
You know,
No, we didn't. Not at that.
That was
that happened. If we would have fucking thrown him out, there. I don't blame Ron. Hindsight. We talk about hindsight. We can talk about hindsight for every single thing that we've done ever.
Everything you've ever done in your whole life,
Yeah.
right? If you could do exactly what you found out later you should have done, you would never have ever made a mistake. You'd be perfect, and that's just not possible.
But
right?
Seeing how was relegated to scout team, and for those who don't know what it means to be scout team, is you're getting a list of plays for the defense,
right?
For the defense, you're not getting plays to work on your craft. Really, he worked on his craft basically on his own once the season started. A coach is not looking at a scout team quarterback. They just don't. They're worried about
things to do.
Yeah. So for all those who are telling, saying Ron is stupid for not seeing it sooner, you're stupid for saying that, because that's not how it works. That's not reality of the situation.
I think people need to realize what a head coach does for the most part. They are delegators. They are overseers, and they look at their coaches that are underneath them. And if their position coach is not coming to them and saying, "Look, this Hal kid's ready to go," then he's not going to hear it. He's not going to notice it. All right. And like Jesse said, Hal's not out there running with the ones and the whatever. Hindsight, arguing over what we could have, might have, maybe done. That's the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard. And I mean, that's way up there on the list of dumb things I've ever heard, because I think I've probably told you maybe just shy of 10,000 times that I've heard the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Scott, go ahead, finish this up.
No, I totally agree with you. I think the best thing you could do is to have him sit for that year. Okay, play the last game, great. It has worked out, but at the same time, you can list a lot of quarterbacks. And I listened to the bunker with you, Jesse, last night, and Andy was spot on. Look at the guy at the Jets, Wilson. We just talked about him. Yeah. Josh Rosen, gone. Richardson is absolutely going to be a bust, as Andy says. There's a few others out there who you look at and you go,
I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
No, I do. The experts who we've talked about, gone. Bailey Zappi started games last year, released today by the Patriots. See you later.
Well, they have a law in Massachusetts about people with funny names, and it's some kind of conflicting shit. And Bill Belichick was like, I really like the kid, but he's got that fucked up last name, Zappi. I got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And when you put them out as a rabbit in the headlights and you let them start, unless they're absolutely elite.
Sam Darnold, Peter, well. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. There you go.
You can ruin. There's so many good, talented quarterbacks coming out of college that have gotten ruined for going into a wrong situation and not being able to sit back and really understand the NFL before being put out on the field.
Well,
who knows what could have happened with Sam Darnold if he sat for a while? Who knows what could have happened to
he just beat out
Blaine Gabbert or give me another list of million quarterbacks that if they sat and learned for a year, then maybe things could have been different. But the NFL is show me what you got now.
You never know. Yeah. I mean, Troy Aikman went out and lost all 11 of his games when he was a rookie, and then he came in and went to the Hall of Fame. So you never know. It's all
right now. The league's not set up to sit and wait, John.
Well,
they don't want to wait.
No, it's not.
No more.
And the side of it, because you've only got a few years to find out before you have to pay them or you have to get rid of them. That's the thing now. You don't have a long time to sit there and evaluate this guy while he's on your team. You've got a rookie contract, depending on when you draft him, of 3 to 4 years, right?
Or 4 to 5 years. Yeah.
Right. So you have to make a decision.
Tiny quarterback at the who's the tiny quarterback that was taken at the Texans? Was it Young? Is it Bryce Young?
No, he's got the Colts.
That was Stroud.
CJ Stroud went to
Stroud went to the
went to the Panthers, didn't he? That's it.
Sorry. Yeah.
One overall. He hasn't looked great. Looked great at all.
It's practice preseason. Here's the other side of the coin now. Colleges now are turning out players that are ready to go NFL style a lot earlier than they used to be. You needed to sit 3 years before you learn how to do it. Some of them are, but on the other, and I'm going to continue to play saying on the other side of the coin here, a lot of these quarterbacks that do come out and we think, okay, this and that about them, or they're ready or they're not ready, or they should sit. Most of them can't do it. And that's a bottom line fact. All right. There's 32 starting jobs in the NFL and probably 14 guys that are capable of actually playing it at the level that it should be played. It's the hardest position in sports. That's a bottom line, period. And even when you do find a franchise, last week you said something about a franchise quarterback. I asked you to define that. Does that mean Super Bowls? Because you can have a franchise quarterback. Phillip Rivers was a franchise quarterback.
Dan Marino.
Fuck
Dan
nothing.
Marino.
Dan Marino.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Right. Fran Tarkenton, a whole other story.
I think you're right. I mean, John, you're right. You got 12, 14, 16 possibly people at the very, very top. And that's why we've been searching for 20 plus years.
Right.
And we haven't found one yet. We hope we found one now. And I'll tell you what, if it does work out, how unbelievably good would it be when you're paying a guy $1 million bucks a year for the next 2 years?
And let's be real. Hal wasn't ready. We saw that in preseason.
He had a good fourth game last year, or the final game of the season.
So did Jake Fromm. Okay,
Well, yeah, but remember last year they played him the whole game in the final preseason game, and he played pretty well, I thought. But even still, we had made our bed. We knew who our quarterbacks were.
Yeah,
you know.
So all you bitching about hindsight. They're just trying to find another. The hate for Ron is they got blind people got blinders on.
You know what it is?
He's not a perfect coach. He's really not. He's got his flaws, but some of the stuff, guys, are just too fucking harsh on him.
Look how smart I am. I can tell you what we should have done after I've waited for a full year and seen all the facts. Look how smart I am.
Yeah.
10 days, gentlemen. 10 days, and I'll be there with you. 10 days. Cannot wait. I honestly cannot wait.
Our next show, we will be doing our superlatives. Or are we going to do our records?
Ooh.
Because next week's going to be a little bit hairy. As far, I think we're going to do a Tuesday, Wednesday show, or just do a one show.
We'll get into our season green, which is just Tuesdays, and then I don't even remember what our season thing was. What last year we did? Tuesday and Friday?
Tuesday, Friday.
All right, Tuesday, Friday.
No, normally Tuesday, Friday.
Saturday picks.
Yeah, but it's next week because we're traveling on Friday.
Yeah.
We're traveling on Friday, so we won't be able to do one. So I think we're only going to be able to do shit. Why don't we just do a Wednesday show?
What a full I mean I can whatever's easy.
Oh, can you, John, with your pickleball?
Well, I do like to play pickleball on Wednesdays. It keeps my figure,
Well, then how about we'll do it Tuesday then. We'll just keep it.
I like to.
We just won't do a.
We have to get into a schedule anyway because we're going to do Tuesdays this year as it is. And as usual, we have put together one hell of a smooth ride on this show. It's been up and down and all over the damn place. And I'm glad that you I see the numbers that are up on the top of the screen there, and it's actually pretty good for what we usually end up with.
We had great, really good downloads for our last show too. So
yeah. So hey, look, for one, if you're listening to the podcast, thank you very much. But you hear some things like this.
1983.
And you are missing some elements of the program. So please give us a look on YouTube. If you're over there on YouTube watching us right now, hit that like button. We do like that. And everybody give us a good review wherever you're listening, because we do appreciate that. And it's not for any kind of monetary purposes or anything. We're well past thinking that we're ever going to make any money doing this kind of stuff. However, what we are is a couple of guys that do like to talk football. And you can see we talk football like fans. We try to have an agenda when we come in here. And during the season, we'll do our normal stuff like we do our butt pats and let me see. I'm giving a turn. We do our butt pats and our head smacks. We do that kind of stuff. We have all kinds of other little things that we do during the season. But for the most part, it is a roundtable discussion in which we kind of just go organically. We are fans talking about our favorite football team. The only knowledge we bring to the table is what we see on our TVs, and just like most of you, the difference is that we can admit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, then. I guess I should play the music again.
Yep. Yeah, none of us are perfect. We are. When we say fans are stupid, that includes us.
Absolutely.
We're the first to admit.
Yeah.
When it comes to like me, I do tend to get a little bit upset at shit thrown at.
Speaking of which,
Von
hold
Rivera.
on a minute. The other day, you came out there on excretion or whatever it was, and you basically gave us a teaser. Let me find my here. You gave us one of these.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Sit the fuck down and shut up.
Shut up and sit down.
You shut up.
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
Now, who are you talking about?
Mark Tyler.
Mark Tyler. Well, I thought that was the other day.
That was the same day, dude. Yeah. That was it.
Okay. Well, sorry, Mark. We've told you to sit down and shut the fuck up twice. So let me get back up here to closing the show. I'm your happy host, John Taman. That over there is Jesse Wade. He's over there, and that down there is Scott. And hopefully next week we'll probably see our friend Keith in some state of undress. I am sure.
He is napping at our little flat, so I'll get some nudes and post them on X.
Really, we don't.
I'm gonna try and do like a vlog with Scouse and Burrows, and I'll take this little camera screen that I've got, and I've got a selfie stick. We'll go around and we'll see what we get. It'll be good fun.
We'll call it A Hamster in America.
Oh, and did we announce that we are doing a show after games? Some games, not all games, obviously. The Bleeding Burgundy in a bunker after a 1-point safety.
That's right. So immediately after the game, we will all jump on here as whatever state of intoxication any of us might have.
It could be 2 of us. It could be all 6 of us. It could be 9 of us. It could be 3 of us. It could be none of us.
That's right. We'll see. If it's none of us, boy, aren't you in for a treat. All right, then. Well, see you guys on Friday.
Later.
Bye.